Alright, we're back with the semifinals of the Penny Dreadful tournament. I did not make top four. I think I made 7th. So we're gonna watch some finals. We Briar Moss playing his blue black, kind of like control-y deck versus Duck of Oregon, Kaleok, who's playing Black White Knights, kind of a new flavor of the month here, or the week. Ooh, Knights on Knights. The Knight on Knight action is just gonna like trade here. One of the crazy things about this like deck is that it uses a lot of the adventure cards that are actually legal. So Lucky Clover kind of gets a lot of advantage out of it from cards like Smitten Swordmaster and Falmir Knight. Mostly Swordmaster, kind of end the game. But it's like good enough where you want to play 4 of these. Oh, it's also Order of Midnight, which is like a Gravedigger effect, so it's not actually bad. This deck kind of grinds for sure. Another thing about this deck that's really awesome, it gets to play an actual dual land for Knights. So the mana is actually like kind of nice. And Contender only works with friends, but alone it's just a simple 3/3. It's kind of the spot where Briar was supposed to be, and he's actually at a higher life total than the Knight's deck, so everything's kind of working out. Might be a Dispersal. Oblivion just gets him make him discard. I don't mind that play that this way. It's like 2 more creatures less to deal with. Although, if one Order of Midnight can just get it all back, so the double Clover. Oh, and I missed today. Triple Profane Insight for the Falmir Knight. And draw 3 cards for 3 mana, 3 life. The power Lucky Clover, for sure. I think that's one of the big appeals of this deck, is that the creatures, while some being small and kind of puny, are pretty good on the adventure side when you have a bunch of Clovers out. Alright, so a couple of Smitten Swordsmans. Not too great right now, though. I guess losing 3 life is pretty tough. I guess the first one will hit for just 3, and the next one will hit for 6. It is a lot. I'm actually curious to see if, like, I'm not sure the tournament grounds actually hit source the adventure parts. Maybe it's just for the actual night spell. Alright. So one swordsman's on vacation here. I'd probably actually cast a Falmir Knight here. Or even the swordsman. Either way. I want to make the most out of this next swordsman that's in play. I learned that curry favor means... Wait, I had this somewhere. Curry favor means to ingratiate oneself with someone through obsequious behavior, which in layman's terms means to suck up to someone. I learned that today. The Brian was up against it. Yeah, the Curry favor's just gonna take it out. The cheap little knights are pretty good. Just kind of like, I think it's just a swordsman that gives it that incredible amount of reach, especially with a bunch of clovers out. It's actually pretty insane. For 1 mana, it just kind of like domes your opponent. In this case, it would have been 12. And plus, you just have this general sort of like aggro match. Like, you got 2-1s for 2, or 2-1s for 1, 2-1s for 2. A little bit of card advantage, even just the contender itself. Alright, game 2 underway. 90 Greats getting Mana Leak. I think Mana Leak's pretty strong in this matchup. Just you want to deal with the early threats. I think about countering this. I think it's pretty enough good enough counter target. A Power Sink? Or Forbidden with Buyback. Double Lockmere Serpent's not the worst card to discard. Contender's probably get hit with his other the same forbid here. I'm sure he's gonna buy it back. The Knight's just gonna have to have 5 cards in the graveyard to get back to the server, but instead the Reanimate just kind of gets it back right now. Not a great blocker against the Falmer Knight, which has Death Touch though. So but the Paragon does not mind blocking this knight here. Alright, Contender coming down. Try to draw a card here. It gets Order of Midnight, which is actually a pretty good card in this spot. You can definitely get the other Acclaimed Contender and start trying to draw more cards. Interesting attack. Basically, he's using it as a removal spell. But maybe he just kind of forgot that it has Death Touch? Maybe a misstep here? I guess he didn't have enough mana for that. But if anything, maybe he wants to get rid of the graveyard for the Order of Midnight be ineffective, which he just saw through the type contender. Maybe that was all purposeful. But it's weird because he had another one. I think he had another Serpent in his graveyard, which he could have done, but he needed 5 cards to be in that graveyard. So instead, just a 2/2 comes down, which is still a threat. Still an incredible threat. Curry favors just kind of slowly nudging away the life total from Briar Moss. Only attacks with the flyer. Doesn't want to get hit with a surprise serpent, even with Dark Ritual on the table. Even if they had 5 mana, you can still Dark Ritual out a serpent. Cryolocaniarium's it's just a simple 2-for-1. Doesn't get the contender here, but any other creatures is not bad. The rest's gonna be a big whiff here. Double Serpent in the hand. These guys are gonna start coming out here just kind of like flash blocking anything that comes down. The serpents do pose a big threat here. Even without the unblockable part, they're just huge. They also just gain life, draw cards, and eventually just win the game. It's a pretty crazy card. I actually never knew this card existed until this format, or this season. I don't really pay attention to the usual cards that come out in standard sets. Unblockable Serpent's probably gonna be enough here. 2 for good measure. We're gonna go to game 3. It's pretty atypical, sort of like blue-eye control plan there, was just kind of deal with the early threats, just stay alive, and then kind of come down with your big haymakers. But Duck's gonna be on the play here for game 3. It's gonna be probably tough for Brian Moss to win this. We'll see though. Anything can happen. That is Magic in general. Ooh, no 1 or 2 drop. That's kind of rough here. Turn 2 Lobotomy. I like saying. What are we gonna name here? Maybe the Lucky Clover, I guess. What kind of name card I would name? Or I guess you have to pick a card. Oh, you pick a card and get rid of them. So, Lucky Clover did get the hit. And the rest of the hand had another land, Order of Midnight, and the Orsorn Pal or Knight, whatever. Here's the whole hand. What fate is it? Am I winning? No, we're just watching now. Sorry, Lurky. We're just watching the last two matches of the YouTubes. Alright, Order of Midnight's gonna come down. That's all you could really do at this point. Ooh. Timely acclaimed tender. Gonna hit with Mana Leak. That was quite timely, though. Thought Erasure, probably taking out the last card. Or no, that's right, it's Spin Swordsman, so the sword's coming out. And Thought Erasure, never mind. Double Thought Erasure getting rid of the hand. But still, I mean, if you're in the Knights player, see, you're not in a bad shape. You're not really in that bad shape. Still got 5 power on the field. Hopefully your opponent just have like a multiple removal spells or like a Cryocanarium. Called shot here, saying Cryocanarium is in the hand. Yet another Thought Erasure is coming out. Ooh, but the Flash guy. Trying to hold that for the eventual sort of like Sorcerer Seed, what do you call it? Removal spell. But this is a lethal attack here, unless Briar Moss last card is probably a Blacklist Paragon or another removal spell. Ooh, that was it. The Knights just swing by here. Kind of just got there.